listeners, and welcome to episode 18.
And tonight we are
Potting up.
potting up.
We mentioned a couple of weeks ago that we were going to do a little podcast on potting up. May not seem that important, but actually potting up can be quite important.
Very important. Okay, so we're going to talk about pots, different various types of pot.
Yeah.
We've already spoke about media, so we don't really need to bore you too much about the media. We're just going to talk about pots and potting up. So first of all, everyone knows we have different various sizes of pots, starting from little half cup size pots to ton size pots. Even if you get a smart pot, some of the American guys use a ton smart pot. In our store we stock 1 litre, 2 litre, 3 litre, 5 litre, 7.5 litre, 10 litre, 12 litre, 15 litre, 18 litre,
20 litre.
20 litre,
And occasionally you've got some 32s, some 45s, some 80s.
and 85s as well.
Sold a few of them 85s for the people with the Christmas trees.
Yeah, big Christmas trees. So we do a wide range of size pots. We also do various different types of pots. So we do a round pot, a square pot, a net pot, a fabric pot, and an Oxy Pot, amongst other different variants which you can all see in store. So basically, where you thought there's just one pot on the market, there's not. There's loads. All do different things for different reasons, and all have different grow periods. That means vegetative period. So, for instance, a customer comes into the shop and says, "What size pot should I use?" Well, if I had a penny for every time I got asked that question, I'd be a multi-millionaire. And the answer to that question is,
There's no right size.
there's no right size. It all depends on what you would like to do. So the real answer is you. It's all on your toes, basically. So a 1 litre pot is only sufficient for a small period of time.
Yeah.
You're not going to grow a plant on veg in a 1 litre pot for 3 months. Why?
Because the plants will get root bound.
And so if you don't know what root bound means, that means if you was to slide the pot off the base of your media, you would find hundreds, a big net of roots all matted together very tightly. Now that's a nice stable root matter. However, if you leave it too long, plants will start getting yellow, become deficient, and have some serious effects. So different size pots vary the length of grow period, vegetative cycle.
That's an important point there, because people often come into the shop and say, I need a 32 litre pot or a 80 litre pot. And I'll say to them, well, okay, how long do you intend to veg in your 80 litre pot, and what you're potting up from? Well, I've got a 10 litre pot, I'm going to put it into an 80, I'm just going to veg it for a couple of weeks. Well, that's ridiculous.
Pointless.
You cannot expect to put it into an 80 litre pot, veg it as you would in a 10 litre pot, and expect better results. It's not going to happen.
No.
You need to veg for a lot longer in order for the roots to fully wrap themselves.
Is that the technical version? That's
I got all flustered there.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a nice long word to show
So
off.
basically what Stephen's trying to say is you want, when you up pot from whatever size pot to a bigger size pot, you need to give that plant time to establish a dense root system.
That's the word.
Okay, so if you get a 10 litre pot and put it in an 80 litre pot and only give it a week to establish in there, it's a waste of your time, because the roots won't establish a dense root system. It will only manage to send a couple of tap roots, and that's just a waste of your time.
And a waste of money.
Yeah, a waste of money. So when you're up potting, there's, you have small pots, so you have a 1 litre pot, okay. So you let your plants become root bound, and then ideally you should be up potting that to like maybe 5 litre or a 7 litre pot. Now the reason why you're doing this, because if you was to put a clone or plant in a big massive pot straight away, it will simply send the taproot down, and then it will spin the root system round the outer edge of the media. It will not become dense through the core of the media. So the only way to get dense roots right the way through all of the media is to pot. So 1 litre pot into a 5 litre, let that become root bound, and then 5 litre into a 10 litre, and then you have a dense root system within the pot. Worst things I ever see, and people say to me, okay, my plants aren't drinking as much, and they're not doing this and they're not doing that. because they don't really pay attention to what's going on. They all think they know everything and don't really want to listen to much. So you'll find a common problem. Somebody pulls out a 10 litre pot and they get immature clone and they put it straight into that pot, and it's too big a media for the plant to be able to deal with, and it'll send the taproot down to the base of the pot and then spin it round the edge of the pot. There's no dense root system within the media, so you're not feeling the full benefits when you water your plants.
And what some people might do is, because they see that they're in a 10 litre pot, they may just try and imagine that the roots filled that 10 litre pot and overwater as a result, when really you've only got a small set of roots.
You've only got a wall of roots that are around the outer edge of the media, because you haven't dedicated to building a dense root matter within the media's core. This is what we're trying to explain to you. When you start a life cycle of any plant, it all begins from propagation. Another common thing I love to go on at our growers, because I see people with small plants, maybe 3-4 inches tall, and they're like, yes, just put it straight into a 15 litre pot. I'm like, no, it should be still in propagation for a further 3 weeks. It's not ready. People are taking plants out of propagation that should still be in deep propagation for a further couple of weeks, and then the plant just sits there because it hasn't got the relative humidity that it needs, which any growing plant or in a vegetative cycle should have a 70% humidity. Some people don't even know what humidity is. This is the thing that says on your temperature control climate unit, whatever you have, hygrostat, thermometer, it says RH. Now, if you actually pay attention to what that thing says, that means, basically, in a nutshell, the perfect climate for any clone to be in, or small plant. So all we're constantly trying to do is to home in on these simple little factors so you get the best out of your plants and they look healthy constantly all the way through.
Good stuff. So we've touched, so to summarise that wonderful information, start off in 1 litre pots, let the roots get established in that pot, pot up to a 5 litre pot, let them establish themselves there, and then pot up to maybe a 10 or a 15 in a pot that you want to finish off in.
The reason why we do this is your plant will grow very, very fast, because it's not being overloaded with too vast amount of space or and too much water or too much nutrients. So ideally, the NPK way, what I advise you guys to do, maybe start off in a 1 litre pot, let it become root bound over the next week or so, jump it up to a 5 litre pot, let it become root bound over the next week or so, put it in a 10 litre pot, and then you can finish the cycle in that. See what differences you get, see how healthy your plant looks, see how dense the root system is, see how healthy the root system is, and then you can try that again, up in the ante, shall we say. You could go from 1, 5, 10 litre, and then maybe into 20 litre pots. Or just always remember, if you're going to use a big pot, is allow the plant enough time to establish a dense root system. So if you've got a 40 litre pot, that's going to need at least a good 4 to 7 weeks to establish a good root system within. As if you took a 10 litre pot, put it in an 80 litre pot for a day, and then change the cycle, what's the point? Because there's not going to be any more root development with it.
Tell you what the point is, they're going to spend a lot of money on media filling up that 80 litre pot. They're going to spend a lot of money on an 80 litre pot, and we can go on a few nice summer holidays on that, can't we?
Might buy a new car.
That's if you like that type of shop.
Which there is a lot of shops out there.
There is, and they will want to say, take your money for your 80 litre pot, and mateys, another bag of cocoa to fill that 80 litre pot.
Well, it would actually be nearly 2 bags of cocoa.
2 bags it would be. Okay. So straight away, 80 litre pot, £15, 2 bags of cocoa, £10 each. That's £35. And what results are you going to get? Nothing improvement. No improvements whatsoever. Listen to us. We're not here to rob you in the middle of the street or put a mask on and take all your money. We're here to give you the honest information, the top quality information, and that was top quality information. A few things that a customer will come in and do though, which you may do yourselves, which we're going to try and make you aware of, is they will be in a 15 litre pot and they'll pot up to 20 litres.
Ooh.
What's the problem with that, Tom?
Oh, what isn't the problem? Unless you've got little skinny flat fingers and you can get your hands down the side of that gap, because, come on guys, a 15 litre pot and a 20 litre pot. If you slide just a 15 litre pot, just sit it inside of a 20 litre pot, the distance from each of the walls must be probably an inch.
If that.
Okay, I would love to see somebody do that with the quickest of ease, because it's not possible. You can, hold on a second, it is possible with great difficulty.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to do that, I'd tend to not. I have done it myself just through necessity in the past, and it's a struggle. You have to then try and fill some soil in the base, and then try and build a then thin wall as a template, and then try and put this plant, and you end up trying to ram it all down the sides, and it just doesn't work. If you're going to up pot from a 15 litre pot, I'd recommend you go to something about a 30.
Yeah.
Double in size.
Double its size.
Yeah.
Make your life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Let's talk, okay, so we'll talk mostly those sizes that we talked about at the beginning. The plastic pots.
Yeah, just one before we jump again.
Let's step back.
Yeah, 1 second, because one thing I do want to iterate to you guys is, however, if you use an 85 litre pot, you can get a bigger plant. You can get a Christmas tree, and all you need to do is grow it for a longer period of time. So don't think that, oh, big pots are bad, because they're not. All we're saying to you is different horses have different courses, and an 85 litre pot requires a bigger course, i.e. a longer vegetative time. So that's all we're trying to say, is each of these pots depend on varying vegetative periods, or grow periods as you want to call it. So if you're not up to scratch, or there's something that you're not too sure on, or you're just a bit miffed by what we're trying to explain to you, come in and see us. Yeah. Give us a call.
Message us on Facebook or Twitter.
Twitters.
Twitter us.
I was going to say twatters, but don't do that, because we're nice people.
How long did that take us? That 15 minutes for this to become an explicit podcast?
Ah, well, one word. So yeah, just twitters, don't twatters.
Do you want to talk about, we've been talking about plastic pots. You can get the black plastic, square pots.
Yeah.
We also sell some white plastic, which are great because they reflect the heat.
Yeah.
So keep you media.
Well, that's mine and your theory, isn't it?
Yeah. White reflects heat, keeps your media a bit cooler, and in the summer and some hot periods, that's a great thing to have. But we also had a couple of other pots that I think our listeners would be interested in. We have the smart pot or fabric pot. There's a lot of variations on the smart pot. I think it's probably the first out. The smart pot.
Well, smart pot
is the most well known.
Is the original one from the US.
Yeah.
Like any other product on the market, you've got a million people trying to copy it and say that theirs is better than his, and his is rubbish, and that's good, and mine's boss, and all the usual rigmarole.
Why is it a smart pot? What's so smart about it?
Good question, that, Steve. Got me on the ropes, yeah.
Oof.
It's an intelligent pot. It's got a brain inside it. No, it's not. It's not really.
Does it do your watering for you?
No, it doesn't.
Oh. Does it grow your plant for you?
Not really, no. Hey, that's a good idea. We're onto something.
I think
a pot that grows and waters your plants for it.
Rick, take some notes.
How about we create a plant that looks after itself? Saying that, though, I'm still struggling to try and teach me dog to shut the back door when it comes in.
So come on, yeah, what's so smart? Why are they called genius pots? Why are they called smart pots? You're good friends with Dusty.
Yeah, Dusty. Big shout out to Dusty Fraser. That's my man at Smart Pot. He's based in Humboldt County, and he's grown some amazing plants over there in US of A in Humboldt County.
We want to get him over here soon. Or maybe Skype Dusty or Smart Pot. Skype us if you want to have a chat and tell our listeners how great your pots are.
Yeah, we're not going to answer the Smart Pot question.
Okay.
We'll leave that for Dusty.
We're going to leave that open now.
Because I actually haven't got the answer. Is that fair enough?
Okay, so you're good friends with Dusty. You know the answer, so you've just took yourself off the ropes and now you're nodding at me to answer the bloody question.
Go for it.
Okay, well, the reason behind the smart pot is that on plastic pots the roots will stretch out, hit the plastic and curl round, resulting in a very root-bound pot, or root-bound plant I should say. When it hits this smart pot, the root tries to leave the pot through the fabric, but is then air pruned by the air outside. Basically the tip of the root falls off, and the root will then produce 3 more tips which can take up water and nutrients. Therefore, instead of getting a root-bound pot, what you're going to end up with is a mass of root tips that can all take up water and nutrients and become highly dense. They're not going to encircle a pot. You're just going to have hundreds and hundreds of tips, which is great for your root system. What happens below happens above. You look after your roots, they'll look after you.
Okay.
That's the basis of the smart pots. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe you've hit the nail on the head there, Stephen. It's about time we see you do some work. Pros and cons of smart pots.
Okay. They're expensive. There's a con.
Well, we're not conning yet. We're just saying that's a downside, so we'll be very careful with the word con.
Yeah, they can be a little bit expensive, but they're reusable.
Yeah.
If you look after them properly.
Lifespan on them?
Probably looking at about
5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look after them.
Smart pots is 5 years, I know that.
Okay.
Machine washable. Sorry, Stephen, to interrupt,
No
but they're
problem.
also machine washable.
Oh, okay.
As you know, they're made out of fabric, so you can fit 500 in a holder.
In a box, that is a big plus.
Yeah, big pro.
Because when I'm trying to take them up to the allotment and I've got to use the van to get hundreds of pots up the allotment, if we forked out a little bit of extra money, we could actually get hundreds.
I'm sure that was a dig towards me. Oh,
we could probably get 1,000 in one trip, couldn't we?
Yeah, we
and
could.
I wouldn't even have to take the seats out the Vito.
Yeah, it only cost me about 20 grand.
But it's well worth it.
Yeah.
It's definitely well worth it. What I would tell you to look out for is obviously smart pot's not the only variant. It's not the only fabric pot out there. But what you want to be careful of is that there's going to be cheap imitations. Now these cheap imitations may have Velcro. They may have stitching where you have parts of the pot or the fabric protruding out, or you may have folds over the top of the pot that are then stitched down. Smart pot has none of these. The reason why? Because you have pests and disease. Now Velcro, any bits of protruding fabric that have been stitched together and any bits that have folded back on themselves make an ideal habitat for the spider mites, for the thrips and any other pest and disease. I just said that again, pest and disease, didn't I? Chicks and dicks last week. Pest and disease. Fucking hell. Anyway, it's an ideal habitat for spider mites and other pests, and that's what you get from cheap fabric pots. So don't go stingy. If you wanted stingy, just stick with your plastic pots. If you're actually looking to improve your grow, get a proper fabric pot. Okay. One of them is the smart pot. So
we touched on fabric pots there. The Oxy Pot.
That's another interesting, very interesting. Same principle as the
It's
smart
a weird
pot.
Looking product.
It looks like a lampshade.
It looks like a black lampshade with a load of cow's nipples on it.
That's exactly what it looks like.
And yeah, that's it.
You know what you're looking for now. These are great because they come flat packed. It's like IKEA does pots.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You put them together yourself, put them together in about 5 seconds. 2 blue screws, a colour-coded base,
yeah,
so you know what size pot it is. Fill that pot with cocoa. The roots will try and get out of these holes on the sides, but again, they'll hit the air, prune themselves, and what you get on these pots is a mass dense of roots and tips.
Yeah.
And everybody that's used them has never gone back to plastic pots because the difference is so much better. Okay. And that's the Oxy Pot. That is just a plastic version with holes in it. Lots of holes.
Excellent. So there we have a few variants of pots.
And potting up.
And potting up. So to conclude for today,
yeah,
we've went over
potting up, different types of pots.
Yeah.
What you should be looking out for if you're looking to buy the new fabric pots.
Yeah.
That are out.
So just so you guys know, potting up, there's a little bit more to it than just give us a 10-litre pot and a 12-litre pot. Give it a little bit more thought. If you're still a bit confused what we're talking about, or you need us to elaborate on any of the pots or anything at all, just come in or even give us a call.
Yeah, give us a call, 0151 228 8306. Message us on Facebook, Facebook.com/NPK Technology, or Twitter us, don't twat us.
Yeah, Twitter us.
And follow us at NPK Technology. Send any of your questions or any remarks or anything you want to see on future podcasts. This is the People's Shop. This is the People's Podcast.
Or even if you think what we're saying is a load of rubbish, let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
We love a bit of debate.
Yeah, we love a nice, good bit of banter, we do.
Okay. So hopefully that's answered all your questions on potting up and pots. Thank you for listening. You've been with myself, Stephen.
And myself, Thomas.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
At NPK Technology in Liverpool, we pride ourselves on providing you with the products you need at the right price. Once more, if the products you want aren't in stock, we'll order them in for you. And if you don't know exactly what you're looking for, we'll happily point you in the right direction. NPK Technology Liverpool, going out of our way to help you grow. Visit www.mpktechnology.co.uk.
Is good.